Southeastern University graduates. You played with the Patriots. Same year. You played with the Patriots when you played with them.
I signed in 67. And I was traded to Buffalo in 68.
Jenkins is still
You asked me memories of who I played with. Yeah, you were part of the Baby Bull backfield. Right?
Yeah, well, you know, there was Jim Nance,
Right?
Hall of Fame. John Wallace is a Hall of Fame. Lenny St. Jean, Dave Pirelli, Larry Eisenhower.
And that's how you use FaceTime.
We had a good ball. It was enjoyable. The game changed a lot,
Sure it is.
but it was enjoyable, fun time for us.
You were, so you halfback, fullback.
I was a fullback. Well, you know, then they classified Larry Garron as
Okay, here we go, another TV
Then
timeout.
it was fullback. Now they're just all running backs, I guess.
Right.
That position hasn't changed. I think other than size-wise, we're probably bigger than the backs out now.
What were your size when you were playing?
Well, I played at 235.
235.
Jim was about 235, 240. We played together. And it was a pretty good size back.
Do you remember any of the massive collisions?
Red ticket,
You know what? Everybody asks me who's the hottest ever been hit by. And I'm embarrassed to tell you it's by one of my own teammates.
Hey, buddy,
Nick Bonner.
just get up there.
Everybody know.
Alright.
Nick went with the Dolphins, but it was in a scrimmage. It was my first year in
White ticket.
we called draw play, and I ran the play, and Nick and I, he hit me, and I had a shot in the back. And we both kind of rolled over.
9, 7,
Looked at Nick, and I
8,
said, well, if he's
9,
really, I
9,
was
4.
really hurt.
White ticket.
He started to move to get up. I did too, but we both got up kind of a little woozy, but that was the hardest I've ever been.
Back in the room.
Teammates.
That was one of the things I heard about Wanacona. They called it the hydrant. When you hit him,
Oh, yeah.
it was like hitting a hydrant of a tree.
He wasn't that big. I mean, Nick probably played about 6 feet, but probably about.
White ticket.
But he had, you know, they have a.
9, 7, 8, 9, 8, 4. Anybody? White
Yeah, you
ticket.
know, last interceptions, 20
Back in the room. Come on.
sacks, all over the field.
Back it up.
But he was enjoyable to play with.
And you played with Gino Cagliari, Ronnie Graham.
Chino,
Okay.
a lot of guys.
Back in a minute.
You know, 2 Heisman trophies actually. Bolino came in. Picked up John Hewitt.
John Hewitt, yeah.
Notre Dame. And that's funny. When I was at Notre Dame for a year, he was the quarterback. We kind of reunited back 5 years later. It's just we have 2 Heisman trophies.
With the box. Well, we're at Gillette Stadium. We're watching the Patriots play the Philadelphia Eagles. There's noise in the background over Bob's shoulder. You can see some of the big screen TV here. We're at the Game of the Greats and Alumni Foundation, raise some money. And we got a great crowd here tonight. So we just wanted to reminisce a little bit about some of the greats and some of the players that played with the Patriots. In this case, the Boston Patriots. Paul Bevan. Appreciate your time. Thank you for reminding me. And there's fans out there that are out there that like to join the great event. It's a great charitable event. Absolutely. Enjoy yourself. You'll watch the air and you'll find out on this day in Patriots history on Bob just starting out on Twitter. So we're walking as we go along the next week. Thank you. Good luck. Hi, this is Bob Hilberg. I'm with Jim Bowman, Patriots legend, special teams guy, quarterback. We're here at the Game with the Greats at Gillette Stadium, watching the Patriots beat up on the Philadelphia Eagles. Jim, you played with the Patriots what years?
1985, 1989.
85, 89, so you're part of the Mad
Super
Rush.
Bowl
You know,
year of
it's-
1985. Everything was going very well up until Super Bowl 20 started, basically.
It's all right. I mean, you made some key plays during the year. I mean, in 85, you got Grogan as your quarterback, and then
Easton, Groves, and my claim to fame game was the Los Angeles Raider game. It was the semifinal game of the playoffs that year in '86 that they had 2 fumble recoveries in the game, and the final one being the touchdown. Ended up being, I guess, the winning touchdown that we ended up winning 27-20, I guess.
Sam Seal.
He was the kick returner that day that fumbled the kickoff. Mosi Tatupu ran down, stripped the ball. Cedric Jones, a wide receiver, kind of tapped the ball along, and I was the lucky one that fell on it in the end zone. So I got the credit, but there was a lot of work that entailed that got us to that point, and certainly to that moment of the ball game.
And just to mention Mosi Tatupu, I mean, God rest his soul, and they have a foundation and fundraiser every year for Mosi. But a lot of people don't know, Mosi Tatupu is the only Patriot player to force a fumble that resulted in a touchdown in a regular season game and force a fumble that resulted in a touchdown in a playoff game. And he became the one in the playoff game.
Yeah, before Mosi passed, he would always ride me a little bit and kid me that, because of him, it got my little claim to fame. So, we always remember Mosi for that. But, when you have a special teams player of the year named after you, Mosi was very special on special teams. And, I had my little run here in New England, and certainly Mosi was a part of it, but certainly special teams was a great part of my career as well.
Exactly right. We got some other players that we'll be talking about throughout the history of the Patriots. Steve King is another guy we're going to have on, another special team extraordinary player. We'll talk to him a little bit later in the show. The other game that I remember is the Colts game. Remember this about the Colts game where you had a couple of interceptions.
I sustained a concussion after a number of concussions, but believe it or not, I can still remember it. But yeah, I had a concussion in the first series of plays, but yet shook it off after halftime, back on the field in the second half, and had 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. And statistically speaking, that's probably my best game ever. I don't recommend playing with sustained concussions after you have one, but for me, it was an opportunity to start that day, and I just didn't want to get off the field. It was one of those things that concussions were treated a lot differently yesteryear than they are today. I was able to talk myself back onto the field. I probably shouldn't have, but I did, and just playing on a lot of emotion, and got a couple of balls thrown my way, but had my first career interception on a play that had a concussion in the first half that got me off the field.
Who was the quarterback?
That was Gary Hogaboom, a fellow Central Michigan Chippewa. So I owe my first career interception to a fellow alumnus.
Well, this is Jim Bowman. We're talking about the history of the Patriots. You can follow us on this day in Patriots history on Facebook. I'm Bob the Statman, and we appreciate the time.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, Jim.
All righty.
Game with the Greats. Check it out sometime. Thank you very much. Hi, it's Bob Hilberg with John Williams.
How you doing?
And we're here at Gillette Stadium with Game with the Greats. It's an annual fundraiser that happens every year, and you got to check it out. We're here, over my right shoulder, you'll see Teddy Bruschi, one of the clubhouse suites.
Yeah, but he's got one of the newer uniforms on, so he's not old school like the rest of us.
So John, when did you play?
I played back in '84 through '87.
Okay.
It's part of the first Patriots Super Bowl year.
Right.
We went down and played against the Bears. We had a plan to beat them. Seriously, what we did for them at the time was 5 quarters, we would beat them.
That's right.
So that was a great game.
Actually, I talked to the coach.
Yeah.
And he says, if we had one more week, we would have gone into a more passing attack.
Yeah.
We had Stephen Starr,
Yeah.
we had Sandy Morgan,
Yeah.
we had Irving Fryer, but
Yeah.
it was a short week. And you had back-to-back-to-back, you had the wild card, the first team, the wild card to make it. But he says, we realized when they shut down these other teams in the NFC, the Bears, we really couldn't run the ball and we couldn't adapt.
Exactly.
But you had a heck of an offense, going through those playoff games.
Yeah, oh yeah. We had a great offense. We had Tony Collins running the ball. We had Mosi, Craig James, Robert Weathers running the ball. My job, because that was on injury reserve that year, was that I had to do linebacker scouting. So I wrote up scouting reports for the linebackers, and I met with the running backs, and we went over every bit of pieces about the running backs. What I thought was their weaknesses and their strong points. So as Ray Barron would say, is that you don't work, you don't eat. And so he gave each and every one of us a job that was in the
Okay. And then the next year, you have still a pretty formidable team.
Oh yeah, you had a great team, and again, it was you get there and you think, why did the Patriots draft you? Craig James, Robert Weathers, Tony, Mosley, and I think I was trade bait, but unfortunately, again, I got hurt my second year in, and then put me on IR, and just kept me up here in Boston.
So you were running from the kickoff return.
I was kickoff returner, which is, it's pretty funny. When you talk about kick returns, in high school, you can catch the ball, look around, and make a decision. In college, they give you a right return, you catch the ball, and you go to right return. Well, in the NFL and kick return, you better catch the ball. And if it's a right return, you better catch it on the run because those guys are so big, so fast, that you're catching the ball and they're on you.
Right.
So,
Even though the ball's 65 yards up in the air, they're screaming down.
They're screaming down the field, and you know that back to my plan, it was we had wet breakers.
Right.
And those wet breakers can come down and just clock the wedge and make the tackle. One of the games that I do remember in kick returns was we're playing the Jets in the old stadium. It's a right return, so you catch the ball and you run upfield, show left, but then break right. Well, I show left, break right, I see an opening, and I run through it. Next thing you know, I'm on the ground with the trainers coming to me with the salt. They're gonna get the salt tablets out.
That's not good.
No, it wasn't good. No. I got clocked. I got killed. I'm on the sideline, got the salt going. The guys apologized to me. John, I'm sorry. So they missed my balls. And then next thing you know, I hear, hey, 44. And I go, turn around and go, nice rear end. And I go and I do this, and my pants was ripped. So someone on the Jets grabbed my pants, ripped it, that exposed my rear end. So it's a crazy. I laugh at the story, but I got jacked. So that was good.
That's one of the toughest positions.
That's a tough
Guys,
yeah.
they get it for a couple plays, and then another guy comes in, and another guy comes in. The last time of the year,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my job also, not only for kick returns, I also did kick coverage. And I replaced Mosley. You can't replace Mosley because Mosley was always, the Pro Bowler because of his kick return. Mosley's a dear friend of mine. I miss him. I just miss him every day, especially summertime. My phone would ring and he was wanting to play golf. And so we would go and we'd play golf, but my job was relieve Mosley. But I didn't do that much because Mosley was a dedicated player. He was on the field all the time, loved to play. And when I got in, I wanted to impress the coaches, but also to make Mosley proud of me and make a tackle.
When you go to school?
I'm a true blue Penn State Nittany Lion. I will show you guys my Nittany Lion tattoo. And right now we're all going through the Penn State family, going through a lot of stuff that's going on at Penn State. But as I said, families will come together and rise above what's going on at State College. And Jerry Sandusky and his boss, that destroyed this program, will get his just due. So,
I appreciate the time.
well, thank you. Thank you much.
It's John Williams, Bob Hilberg. Check out This Day in Patriots History. And I'm Bob the Stat Man on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, it's Bob Hilberg, author of Total Patriots, the definitive encyclopedia of the world-class franchise. We went to Lake Stadium and gaining rates and they would one right here. Randy's a rabbit clown. Good to see you. Good to see you, Randy. So we're reminiscing about the history of the Patriots, memorable moments, key players. So you came from the Rams at the end of training camp in '71.
Yep, I was the 17th round pick of the LA Rams. In those days, they had 17 rounds. Today, they only have 7. So that tells you how important the 17th round pick was.
Yeah. And then you went to school at Stanford with Jim Plunkett.
I played with Clark, and we went to Rose Bowl, and Jim obviously won the Heisman. He was the first pick of the draft, and I was in the last round of picks of the draft. And near the end of camp, the Rams let me go. And And I think Jim talked to the coaches here and got me a quick shot and ended up surviving.
There for
7 years.
7 years. What are some of the memorable moments? I know in 71, the Patriots was some excitement. They got the new stadium. They got the Heisman Trophy on the opening day.
I think 71 was a great year for me personally. I made the team. I ended up third in the NFL in receptions. One was Jim Plunkett was the rookie of the year. I made the all-rookie team, as did he. We had a couple of tough years. Fairbanks became the head coach. 74, we had a great start. We were 6-1. Had a ton of injuries, and then 76 we had the famous game with the Raiders after we'd beaten them earlier, but we had to play. We tied with the Baltimore and then the Colts, and had to play. They ended up winning the division, so we played the wild card game with the Raiders and lost out there on a questionable call by License, I think his name was.
Right,
And that was a great time.
I mean,
Philip Ditakli, Russ Francis should have given us an easy chance to score. So, but you know, when Fairbanks came to 73, you know, we turned the program around. 74 we had a good team. 76, 75 was the strike, and we didn't play well, but it was great. I loved every minute.
Now that 88 touchdown pass, you spotted to beat the Colts, the Baltimore Colts, Johnny Unitas, about what happened in the huddle, you know.
Well, we were the worst team in football. The Colts were the best team. And we were playing the last game of the year in Baltimore, right at Memorial Stadium. We got to the end of the game, and we were down by 4 or 5 points. So we couldn't kick a field goal. There was, you know, I think maybe a minute left in the game. And we were on the 8-yard line. It was 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8, so they expected a quick out or something. Clark looked at me and kind of winked and said, we have to lose. So we told me to do a quick out and go. And I didn't even get to do my quick out. The defensive back slipped, fell down. So I started, I saw him go down. I just turned out that one just laid it out there perfectly at 88 yards. And the funniest part of the story was Upton Bell, who was the general manager, a wonderful guy who wanted to hire his own coach at the end of the year, but the deal he had with the team owner was if John Major, the coach then, won the game, he'd stay another year. So I'm running down the sidelines during the game, and poor Upton is going, because he couldn't pick the coach.
Behind the scenes kind of stories. There was a picture that you had Don Hasselbeck, about 6'8". We got Russ Francis, about 6'5". We got you all standing together. All those guys are going to play.
Oh no, actually I played with all of them. Yeah. Russ came in 74, I think. Okay. 74, 75. Donnie came around that time. So I played at least a year or two with both of them. And I've seen that picture. I look like the little kid looking for an autograph.
So what is your height? What did you play?
I played about 5'9", 170.
Maybe Matt Curran. I mean, that was 74. You talked about him.
Yeah. Mac was maybe 5'5", 5'6", weighed about 185, and there was no fat. I mean, he ran a 9,400. He was just a great player, and it's a shame, you know, in terms of kickoff returns and even coming out of the backfield. But he was really a good blocker. I didn't realize that because he was so worked out. But he had some off-the-field issues that really hurt him. But he was a great player.
I mean, they talk about now, you know, Julian Edelman and Welker and Troy Brown and David Patton, some of these smaller guys. Like you were one of the first guys to really put your name out there. And Benny Mack was, you know, he got the nickname Benny Mack and stuff.
Well, you know, I still think it's a game of catching the ball at the end of the day, you know, and I don't care how good a patterns you run, I don't care what else you do, you got to be able to catch. And, you know, a player like Welker, who's done an incredible job of learning the system across the middle, at the end of the day, he still catches the ball in traffic. And that's much harder to do than people realize. And some of the really star receivers in the league over the years, they didn't even go with it. You know, I mean, that is a, you know, you're talking about linebackers 240, 260, especially now. When I played, there was a little different because the rule now is you can only run the receiver once in the first 5 yards. When I played, they could hit you, cut you, punch, they could do anything until the ball I had kind of a fist fight from the line of scrimmage, which has changed, but it's the same principle. It didn't matter what else I did. If you didn't catch the ball, you weren't going to play. If you catch it, you got a shot to play in that league.
That's right. Well, we're here with Game of the Greats. It's something you should check out. It's every year. It's a fundraiser. It's a great cause. We're at Gillette Stadium with Randy Vitaja. Check this out on This Day in Patriots History on Facebook, and I'm known as Bob the Statman on Twitter. Thank you very much.
All right, Bob. Great. Good to see you.
Thanks very much. Hi, it's Bob Hilberg, the author of Total Patriots, definitive encyclopedia of the world-class franchise here at Gillette Stadium with Ricky Brewski and John Glennon. John Glennon's the author of a couple different books, actually 3 different books. More recently, Game Changers, the greatest plays and 50 greatest plays in the history of the Patriots. 35, I think.
That's right.
And then before that, you did the Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Bad, the ugly, heart pounding, jaw dropping, and gut wrenching moments from New England Patriots.
Yes, so.
Yeah.
And before that, you had
Before that, I had this past year trekking through a season for football fan. Now it's about fans. The other two about fans.
and fans what ended that book.
That came out in
So, I mean, you're talking about, certainly in the last 10 years, Patriots on a huge run, 3 championships, and certainly at least 1 or 2 more. At least you put Rob Gronkowski, who next decade, we're going to win at least 1 more. We're going to do everything doing us this year. This game changes. Covers all the different cabinets. The memorable plays to some of the players, going back to Matt Karen and Dave Burley. Tell us anything about
Right, well, the book really sort of looks at the full scope of Patriots history from the very first game, regular season game they played in 1960, straight through to the end of the 2009 season. Looks at the 35 greatest plays, but then it's not just like here's what happened on this play. Here.
She kicked back. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
All right. So talk about the
35 greatest
very
plays.
memorable plays.
Yeah, you can call them very memorable, greatest, they call them greatest, whatever. 35 really amazing, important plays. Some of them good, some of them, well, most of them really good. A few of them really bad, you have to look at those moments. But then, gets into people who made plays, who didn't make plays, right? What was going on with the team at that time. Just sort of, it's a bathroom reader.
Yeah, what they say.
There's nothing in this book that you can't read inside of 10 minutes. Not a full book, but bits like that. Right.
Tidbits of Troy Brown or Dave Burley or Mike Hayes, today, Willie McGinnis, stops or plays, catches, all that.
Exactly. Obviously, I was very scared. I wanted to get into some of the guys that I remember and I really appreciated growing up. Steve Nelson, Steve Grogan, Mike Haynes, as you mentioned, and then people who were sort of important from. I'm 45 years old, so I don't necessarily remember seeing Gino play, but I certainly appreciate what he did for the Patriots. So
First playing here,
Tim Nance, of course.
another MVP.
Play that sort of, in a lot of ways, put the Patriots on the map nationally. Play that just a big play that Jim Nance made that sort of got him on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Exactly. Let him sit up and say, they have a national team up there.
That was be on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Absolutely. Right. I don't know if we're taking something back then. I don't have that sense of sports history, but Jim did okay.
Jim Nance won the MVP, but he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Joe Bellino, even though he was in Navy uniform, he actually played in Navy. John Hanna, the greatest offensive lineman of all time, and then McGinnis.
That's in your, that covers your
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Memorable moments, John Hanna, Willie McGinnis sack, Kurt Warner, and then some of the greatest last times, MVP points.
Yeah, a couple. I remember a couple of great Sports Illustrated covers in the recent past. Super Bowl championship game run.
That's always been good. about any other team?
You know, I don't know that I could myself. I have never called myself a Patriots fan. I call myself a fan of the game. You know, I appreciate the Patriots. I root for the Patriots, but I don't live and die by the Patriots. You know, I've never sort of lived and died by any sports team. I can tell my Patriots. Just a fan of the game. Because the Patriots, you know, look, sooner or later, Brady's career is going to end. Belichick is going to retire. The Patriots are going to, not necessarily right after that, but at some point, the Patriots are going to go through a tough stretch. And I'll still root for them, but I can't say that, you know, I'll be down in the dumps when that happens. I'll find something else. When the postseason comes and they're not in, I'll find somebody to root for. So I feel like I can't call myself a fan, you know, if I don't live and die by the team. You know, like I wrote a book on fans and I saw what the real hardcore fans who just like, you know, they're miserable for a week after a loss. It's not my nature.
I don't do that. And that's one of the things that I wanted to bring into this show is some of the memorable moments, more some of the positive moments, they're reminiscent. And to talk to your uncle, your aunt, and your grandfather, your family, and say, hey, remember that guy, remember that play, remember that where they played. And certainly this brings it back, some of these 35 plays, and some of the great pictures that you got in there. So we hope you enjoyed the show. We're here with James the Great, Sean Glennon, an author, and historian, certainly with a lot of players and very active in the community. We appreciate being here. Thank you very much. Starting off with Bob Hilberg at Gillette Stadium. Go Vikings. Hi, it's Bob Hilberg with Pete Brock. How are you, Pete? Good. We're here with Game with the Greats, a foundation fundraiser that we have every year. And they do a great job. It's the 7th year of the Game with the Greats.
Actually 5th year, but yeah, 5th year we're doing pretty good. Yeah. We got it down pat.
We got kind of, ran into a storm, so they had to reschedule here, but we got a great turnout today. Hope you're satisfied, all the fans.
Yeah, completely. Just for the fans to improvise and adjust with us was terrific. We had to cancel the first one because of the pre-Halloween storm. Yeah, nuts. But anyway, we're here and had a great time, and I'm sure that everyone will go back home and tell everybody what a great event this is and come back.
Naturally, hope to see you at a Game of the Greats, and we'll do it every year. We're here with Pete Brock. When did you play with Vikings?
I was here from '76 to 1988.
Okay, 12 years. You were a lineman. You played all different positions. I was actually in one game against the Bears. Talk a little bit about that game.